I haven't hit go live yet. I'm just being a dick.
I was kind of hoping.
As we say, we're gone live. I was hoping. Yes, and we're live, everyone. Welcome to the political recap stream here on the Moist Ski Live channel. Hope you're all well. Joining me, if you didn't notice, is Trups LP. Say hello, Trups LP.
Hello, Trups LP.
Yes,
I'm hoping.
You are hoping. How is Trups LP?
Trups LP is doing okay. I'm, it is the weekend, always a good thing.
How goes the adulting?
Adulting is shit. It is a trap. Don't do it if you can get away with it.
I'm 35. I've been avoiding it for a long time.
Has it worked out?
So far, yes. I still have a small room, but I don't. I consider it a worthy payoff to not have children. Okay. So before we even get into any subjects or talk about other things that aren't politics, earlier in the week I put out a community post. It says, Trups and I have been talking about the possibility of adding a second stream to this channel per week. The stream itself will be less political, a more casual conversation format. Would this be something you would be interested in? We got 147 votes. 83% said yes.
Oh, good.
Yes, there are 6 comments. Someone said add Alex. No. Someone said they might struggle to fit us in. Could be a laugh. Algorithmically moist. More stirem. I would watch it, and only if you offer punch and pie. So thank you very much for the contributions to the discussion. No, I will not add irate Alex. Seriously.
Alex has got his own stuff to handle.
Yeah, he...
Like, as much as you guys, like, I know a lot of our audiences overlap, but, sometimes we just want to do our own thing, and as much as we'd like to add him, like, he's a good dude. We don't have anything against him.
He's a Twitch
He
booby
has his own
streamer.
stuff that he's handling.
Yeah, he's a Twitch booby streamer these days anyway. So it doesn't matter. But thank you for contributing. We will, over the coming weeks, we'll try and work something out and get on with that. Hopefully we'll come up with something that works for both of us, daytime and all, date-wise, and perhaps a format of some kind. We'll work it out. And a name.
We'll probably talk about it after the stream.
More than likely, if we remember.
Yeah.
So how's your week been?
So my week has been kind of like a you know how you have like some of those weeks where it's kind of just like a middle of the road, like nothing's actually happening.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just like coasting. Yeah, it's a lot of that.
To be fair, I had a few of those in September last year. The lockdowns were just draining me. It was so mundane. You just sort of get on. It's not necessarily a bad thing though to just coast a week. But when you look back on it, you feel like you haven't accomplished anything, and that can be quite frustrating. By the way, you are.
I think
now
that's the bigger one right there. It's the I feel like I haven't accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, but at the same time, the same thought goes through my head, and I'm like, what did I have to accomplish?
Yeah, no, I can fully understand that. I thankfully things I want to accomplish I will do tomorrow. Which is nice. It's no computer day, so I'll be on the computer tomorrow.
Oh, good. That's a great no computer day.
Yes.
Straight onto it.
If it's raining, it'll be double computer day. No, I think I'm going to read a comic book and just chill, which would be nice. Okay, so where... actually, we should start with some UK stuff. We'll start with some UK stuff. Okay, I'm not going to do the royal family thing yet. I know you want to. I'll save that, because there's something else I want to address. A couple things. First of all, apparently, there is, in fact, in this country, gay conversion therapy. I did not know this until this evening, when the Equalities Minister said that the government is going to ban it. I'm actually surprised that wasn't a thing sooner, but all right. Moving on from that.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise. The next one, I guess, would concern... is her name Sarah Everard? Everard? I can't remember the name. There's this lady who was, early in the week, she went missing, and parts of her body have been confirmed to be located nowhere near where she lived. A Met officer, I believe, has been arrested, blah, 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 investigation ongoing. So I don't want to comment on that part. People in Parliament have already used this to make a point, and Jess Phillips is one of them, saying that society has just accepted dead women. She is the shadow domestic violence minister. And then she read out 118 names of women and girls killed in the UK last year, where a man has been charged or convicted as the primary perpetrator, in a International Women's Day debate. Right. Well, I got bored. So I went and looked at the UK current statistics for, murders, homicides more notably. 118, yeah?
Okay. I believe that was what you said, yeah.
Last year, 809 people were killed in a homicide. So, I'm not saying... obviously, not one of those is acceptable. Genuinely, I don't believe in murder. Obviously, I don't. No lives matter, everyone.
I was going to say, do people believe in that? Like, is that a thing that people believe in?
No, I just wanted to slyly say no lives matter afterwards, though.
Oh, okay.
But to frame an argument that was framed in Parliament and in the House of Peers, although I think it was as a joke, to ask that men have a 6 p.m. curfew so women will feel safe, I'll get to that in a moment, do remind me, they framed it as if men were the bad guys but the way they framed it also mentioned that it was women and black men, because black men with the knife crime issue in London spiked, which was quite poor. Yeah. But the point, I guess, really is, even if someone introduced an idea for a curfew, what's the obvious problem? Anyone want to guess it? Do you have...
the crime itself?
Actually, yes. Because the crime is committed by a criminal. They're not going to obey the law in the first bloody place. So even if there was a curfew, you're not going to be any safer because they're willing to break the law in the first place. So, what's the bloody point? Also, a 6 p.m. curfew, please. Please, come on. 7 p.m. is better. Let's get another extra hour to play football outside. And play with our Beyblades, because we're men, yo. Fuck's sake. Honestly, it was so stupid. I've been watching it all week, paying a little attention here and there while working on main channel obligations. And I watched these debates, and I was so frustrated because the arguments were being framed in such a misandrist way. Now, yes, the majority of murders are committed by men. In UK, yes, that is true. But this idea that women are under attack is such a bad argument. And Jess Phillips made that argument. And it's not good. Oh, and it is Sarah Everard that went missing in Clapham, to be found in, I believe, Kent. I don't remember.
Oh dear.
Well, parts of her have been found in Kent. But her death is being used politically, and I also don't agree with that. That is really dangerous. So I thought...
Well, I hate when anybody stands on the graves of dead people to make a political point. I mean, we have it right now, and we can talk about this a little later too, because right now they're doing jury selection for the Derek Chauvin case.
We could do a better one than that. Minneapolis City Council, who have approved a $27 million wrongful death settlement for George Floyd's family.
Happened today.
I mean, that stuff was very heavily politicized, wasn't it?
It was, and ironically, so is the act of making a settlement while there's still an active criminal investigation. You ever thought that was kind of weird that they're paying out money when the court hasn't actually established fault yet?
It's really strange. I don't know the process.
There is a reason why one would do that, and it's not a reason that people are... Well, I don't know about this stream, but the Twitter won't appreciate... it means that the state doesn't think that they can get a guilty.
That, by the way, if that happens, oh my life. I just want to say, for the sake of it, you're talking about the same people on Twitter who are championing Biden, no lie, for Operation Warp Speed, but it wasn't even his operation.
Oh yeah, well that's
The same guy
that's a.
who, in 50-odd days in office, has still yet to have a bloody press conference where he gets asked a fucking question.
I almost stopped you there, but I'm glad I didn't because I was like, well, he did address people yesterday.
I saw that. Did he ask any questions?
Well, no, he didn't. The stipulation you added at the end was accurate.
I really wanted to embellish my annoyance. It's really starting to bug me. I need... He has to be under a microscope like anyone else, and with people using the excuse of, yes, but he's being a president for the people, he's healing the nation. He's championing the idea of states being in this together. 13 of them don't have restrictions. So what are you talking about? Oh, some of you might be able to meet up on whenever your Independence Day is, but you can't. I'm getting right off topic. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Tell me how you feel about our politics.
It's just really silly. I saw the tweet. I think I retweeted it when I pointed out the number of I've forgotten. Oh yeah, states that already don't have restrictions or don't have lockdowns.
Like required masks. Yeah.
They're free. They're not going to obey this crap. Texas is like, the fuck are you talking about, Joe? What are you talking about? It just makes no sense. Saying that some people could meet up if we're all in this together. People are like, fam, we're already having a barbecue. You're chatting shit, mate. Just shut up. Oh well, sorry. Just happens.
No. I've tried to keep up with Twitter. It's bad.
You mean that post you put on Twitter? Again, another one of those instances where everyone is reporting in the exact same way.
Oh my god, wasn't that fucking horrible?
It's so... what's the word?
Curious?
Yes.
That's a politically correct way to say what I'm thinking.
It's like the Illuminati.
It's not the Illuminati, correct. It's not aliens. It might be lizard people, for all I know.
It could, yeah. Don't. Because I saw the thing about one of those singers who's not going to be attending an award, who won't have his music put forward for it because he's not been nominated for it, and he's like, it's all done behind closed doors, and we don't know what's going on, how they decide, and that's not right, and I didn't get picked, so I'm salty. Okay.
Yes. Same.
I feel the same way.
I too am salty of all the time when I don't get noticed by Senpai. Whoever Senpai is.
I've got a clue who that is.
No, but yes. I hate how everyone is basically falling over themselves for Biden, and he hasn't done shit. It's really starting to piss me off.
He has signed on the that very large stimulus bill. I had a question. So I obviously can't read this. It's not my area. Is that stimulus bill a one-off payment for people, or is it a number of payments spread out over a period of months?
The $1,400 stimulus should probably come in the form of a singular check.
Yeah, what I mean is,
if it follows. Okay.
Is it a one-off payment from that same bill, or does that 1.9 trillion or whatever trillion bill have more than one payment within it, set for separate dates?
I believe it's only one.
Ooh. Now that's writing a check that your ass can't cash. I wouldn't want to cash that money, really, because someone's going to have to pay for that later.
Oh, actually, yes. Many people have said this. You're not wrong to bring attention to this, but how dare you?
My apologies.
At the same time.
I mean, I do get a stimulus payment of sorts, self-employment income support scheme. I get that next month, middle of next month. I'm quite happy for that because this is the only income I have from YouTube, and with the cleaning work all gone, I'm well within my right to claim it, but I'm self-employed, so I don't get a monthly payment here from the government. I get a one-off payment that lasts 3 months, and it doesn't pay my bills for 3 months. So, it's It's not like it's balanced for me. But I also understand at the same time, I can claim 2 more of those. My intention is to only claim 1. Because at the point where the fifth one will be available, I won't need it.
I don't think there's any bonus or any benefit to us not cashing our stuff immediately when we get it. A lot of it's going to automatically go into accounts anyway.
Yeah.
As that has been a trend that they have been doing since they've implemented this.
Right.
I don't think that there's going to be too much opportunity for people to, try and bounce a check or anything like that. Not that is the intention, but it's not a possibility anyway.
Right.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Okay, so perhaps we should move in a different direction. Besides the 2 main topics you wanted to talk about, there was another thing I saw, that Jen, is it Psaki? Psaki?
Yeah.
She refuses to acknowledge the Trump administration on Operation Warp Speed. Whenever she's questioned about it, she legit will not. I've been watching this enough to now notice she won't give him credit, and it's actually been reported in the UK because we've picked up on it and we're like, how can you not acknowledge it? It was something he introduced.
Not only that, but it was actually even if you didn't like it, you kind of benefited from it anyway. It's the same thing that they argue with Obamacare. It's like, what? It's something that you benefit from, even if I say benefit with air quotes. Don't fucking at me. You get a benefit from this. Why are you upset, or why won't you admit it? Like
the like button to
in terms of Obamacare, I mean, you get the opportunity to have health care.
Thank you for the $5 donation to Trups LP. It's very kind of you. Smash it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
But no, it is extremely unpopular.
Yeah.
To do anything of the sort, accepting that Trump had any good opportunities or did anything good for the nation. It is almost taboo.
That's also something I noticed in Biden's speech about the barbecues and family gatherings on 4th of July. He also did not acknowledge it. I think it's intentional, because there are executive orders that he has signed. I know Gab... Oh, hang on, before I forget, thank you to the like button for £3 donation. Yes, by all means, please consider smashing it. Gab, they tweeted out something, an article that's... because of something Biden's introducing is causing them issues when it comes to acquiring a bank to store their own money.
Interesting.
Because of a policy Biden is introducing. That's choking them. I will quickly go and find it. It was...
I wouldn't be surprised, or rather, it doesn't shock me that policies are being introduced that choke out, I'll call it, not independent, but alternative social media. I'm not surprised that we have those issues.
So it's called politicized lending, and the accusation is something called Operation Choke Point. So it's something to do... Oh, wait, let me just open it up. It's because they've been... one of the last executive orders of the Trump administration, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency published an important final fair access to financial services rule that required large banks and federal savings associations to make lending decisions based upon individualized, quantitative, risk-based analysis and management of customer risk. So the lenders not to make such decisions on the basis of political unpopularity of certain businesses. They don't do it that way. But Biden apparently is seeking to change this because Trump introduced it. Obviously, Trump's view is free market, and also reducing the power of the executive, I believe, it is referenced in the article, when it comes to being involved in banking. I will, by the way, link it just if you get bored later, you can have a little read. I found it interesting. It's fascinating. I don't really understand this area of the market, so I can't comment on it beyond that.
So you understand what the idea of risk-based assessment is, right?
No.
It's okay. So a risk-based assessment is, it is the bank or the lender looking at you as a person or as an entity, a company, and thinking to themselves, okay, what is the potential danger of me as a lender giving them this money? Do I expect that I will make something back from this? Do I think that I will come out ahead in the end? It's that kind of question that one would ask. So in this case, you're asking yourself, okay, well, is them being a different political ideology a potential indication that I'm going to lose on this giving them money or offering my services to them? Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the truth is potentially. I mean, we saw what happened when Amazon servers hosted Parler. They got shut down, right? So, I mean, this is not a unusual thing to basically be thinking about. It is a very real concern for a lot of these. I don't want to call them fringe groups because I feel like that's attributing a label. We'll just call it alternate viewpoints. Yeah, if people don't like your alternate viewpoint, yeah, you might see some pushback from the woke Twitterati who appear to be able to control these things, for better or for worse.
Right. I have been educated. Next time I'll take notes so I don't forget it.
Yeah, basically risk-based assessment is just how likely are you to pay back.
Oh. Sounds like a bail bond.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually fascinating. I'm intrigued, obviously, because Gab being... I'm not the biggest user of Gab, because I can't be asked. And also, I don't really care for the whole anti-smut, uber-Christian thing. Not going to criticize those that do. It's your thing, not mine. Also, I can't grow on there. I've tried twice.
Yeah. They have a way to do it, and they offer... Or is it Minds that offers monetization for posts?
Minds does.
Okay.
Because I'm a Plus supporter. I accidentally tapped an annual payment, so I have an annual subscription with them.
Whoops.
Yeah, and that was instant. I can't like it. I'm like, okay, well, that's 40 quid gone. Right, good to know. Oops.
Oops.
Yeah, never mind. They do that, which is fine. But they also use cryptocurrency. Gas prices to do transactions is stupidly high. So to be honest, any money I make on that site stays there because I can't move it. I don't. Obviously, I also.
It's not wise to move a lot of it. I've found.
I also don't make much because I don't really pull. I can't pull views. I've tried. I'm just not. It doesn't work for me either. I'm very much limited. As much as it's always good to spread yourself on multiple platforms, if I know I can't grow there, then I have to consider not trying.
That's how I feel about BitChute.
I'm growing on there, so I don't really care too much. It's slow, but I'm growing. I want that medallion thing.
My YouTube has stopped automatically uploading my stuff. I have to fix it.
I recently...
Because they're assholes!
I have, because I'm a patron of theirs, I have a mug on my desk, a BitChute mug. It's quite nice. It's got a nice little curve to the body. Recently, because I last year at some point qualified for a second one. This week I got my second one of them. They don't do them. They don't do the mugs anymore. So they're very hard. You won't be able to get them any other way. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. It just sits in a box down by my feet, which is all right.
But anyway, for Gab having that issue with Biden policies, it doesn't shock me, especially after Canada had actually gone out and said that the Proud Boys were in fact a terrorist organization. That kind of shocked me. So I'm not surprised that Biden's administration is playing the same game and trying to limit alternate viewpoints.
Isn't
it's in their MO, right? It's in their best interest.
Isn't Portland still on fire? Because more fires are
newly on fire.
Yeah,
newly on fire. Yes,
more buildings. I'm like, hang on a second, Biden. You did a speech on unity and barbecues with your family on July the whatever.
Yeah, we're using the local Target as as kindling, don't you know?
And now there's a federal building being attacked over and over again by the very people that kind of champion you a little. Ooh, a little bit. This is interesting. Okay. Where should we go next?
Well, do you think it would be better to talk about the British thing because you had it on as a segment on your This Week at Twitter?
Oh, it's so annoying. Yeah, go on.
Okay, fine.
I might change the thumbnail of this to match that actually, because I think it'd be a bigger pull.
Yeah, maybe. So as you guys all know, there has been some spicy accusations coming from Meghan Markle, and I don't think Prince Harry is really on board with it, but I do believe that Meghan has been creating some waves by saying that her family would not offer her child protection, allegedly because of the potential color of the child's skin. Have I got that right so far?
You have.
Okay. Well, she did an interview with Oprah, which some people thought was an interesting format to go and discuss on, considering, well, just the sheer worth of both of the people involved. I believe I saw several interesting posts comparing the wealth of each individual in that group, and then talking about how much their problems actually matter to a layman. But apparently, America really cares about this. I've seen more posts about the British royal family in like American news than I have seen about the British royal family since the wedding itself, I guess. So apparently, there's a bit of drama going on with all of her comments. Apparently, the extended family, or I guess the other family that exists around them, doesn't agree with what Meghan is alleging here. So apparently, Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, and Samantha Markle, her half-sister, have basically said that she's full of shit. That Meghan has ghosted all of her family. That she has performed several, we'll call them socially inappropriate behaviors. And let's see here. We all make... Okay, no. Markle. I'm looking at the article here.
Well, while you do that, I do want to point out, so what I do know about the Oprah interview, for weeks, people didn't want it broadcast here because Prince Philip's been in hospital the whole time with heart issues and infection, so timing was really off. But ITV did buy the rights. They were within their right to do it. The ratings for it were worse than that of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, a really trashy Z celebrity list show. People survive out in the bush of Australia. The format, the ads, and how everything was played out explicitly had to be done one way. Meghan and Harry made it clear. The interview could not be edited. It could not be redistributed and edited. It had to be played as is, untouched. All the ads they chose. The questions, essentially, they chose. They didn't get paid. Oprah got $6.5 million, which, based on her net worth, is the equivalent to giving her nothing. that covered her makeup. Okay, not shaming her, by the way. She's stupidly rich. If you didn't know, there are levels to rich, and she's on the stupid level. So everything about it. The question about the color of skin of Archie. Now this one's interesting because Oprah herself had to step in and afterwards and say they were not referring to the Queen or Prince Philip, which was quite funny to me because if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be Philip. Everyone knows Prince Philip is very, very colourful with his words. He's always been that way. He's a 99-year-old man. He's always been that way. Queen Elizabeth, there are videos that are circulating of her, Meghan Markle, and the Queen. Meghan Windsor, sorry. Or Windsor Mountbatten. Correction. Thank you. To myself. The videos that are circulated show every interaction they've had in public, and it's been absolutely respectful. That doesn't mean, of course, it hasn't been going off behind closed doors. But you fired a shot at the royal family, and it's gotten like the Queen. She stepped in, called a meeting of senior staff and Prince William and Charles, right? And yes, Lewis in the chat, YouTube says Philip gives zero shits. Exactly. She's made it clear an investigation has to take place. Good. Right? She didn't want anyone to comment on it. Journalists decided, oh, whoa, there's Prince William, let's ask him. And he said, no, we are not racist. Angrily, by the way. So William
I believe Harry actually pushed back on some of those allegations as well.
He did.
But what I have here was a bunch of Meghan's... it was actually... as she was trying to advertise for her book, essentially she made some claims about her family. Saying that she basically has been, part of an estranged family, a family that didn't pay attention to her, didn't care about her, lost contact, and yet apparently the half-sister has photographs of them being together and their lives growing up together. So there's a lot of like, oh, woe is me, but why are you lying?
There was a contradiction that was pointed out, and I can't remember the exact way it was phrased. But there was because of Harry's issues with the media, he implied there was a belief he would have left the royal family because of the media attention. And then when he was asked about if he would have left had he not met Meghan, he said no. And I found, and Cog was the one I believe who tweeted it and pointed out the contradiction by quoting it. It was really odd. Meghan herself said that she had very little knowledge of the prince, and yet someone then correctly pointed out, yeah, but you've been following and liking his posts on social media for years. In fact, you had admitted to searching for him on the internet, and a friend had as well for you. So
she's kind of like the worst kind of stan.
I'm not trying to say you lied. In fact, that's where Piers Morgan comes into it, the host of Good Morning Britain, formerly. He, on British television, said, I don't believe you, Meghan. Simple as that. He does not believe her. And I take the stance of, he is well within his right to say that, because it's free speech. Also, that TV show has the highest ratings for a morning show because of him. We know this because the ratings plummeted, shares nosedived when he was made to resign because Meghan Markle, Windsor Mountbatten, had complained to ITV to get him removed. At which many have said it's cancel culture. Piers has put out a statement saying it's not, but it is definitely a free speech issue. My view is, I don't really give a shit. Piers Morgan's quite funny, and if ITV have to play defensive like that, then he's better off somewhere else where he can speak his mind. And their shares will suffer until they make changes, possibly. I don't know. But it's interesting that when people called it out, Sharon Osbourne actually defended him. And she defended him on TV. And the co-hosts of that show, who were themselves people of, I don't want to say colour, black and minority ethnic, sure. They pounced on her and abused her, saying, no, it's racism because Meghan says it's racism. I'm like, that's not how... this isn't how most people work. And most people don't really care about this in the first place. But now you've devolved this down to racism, we're just going to hammer you now because you keep on saying stupid things. And it's to the point Sharon Osbourne had to issue an apology to save her own job. So you don't need to. You're worth over 100 million. You can die on that hill. What I found really funny were those, even Gary Lineker, an incredibly liberal guy who, I'll be honest, I thought he'd be pro-censorship. No. He defended Piers Morgan's right to free speech. I was like, this has got to be... And he's a soccer player in the UK, a legendary soccer player. And it's astonishing to see who's defending him and who isn't. Because he doesn't believe. And it's because you've got to prove it. That was Piers Morgan's point. And it's the point you have to make. You've got to prove it. Simply saying racism doesn't float. And it's not because we care for the royal family. We don't care. It's part of our British culture. And what I found really fascinating with all of it was Harry here is allowing this shit to happen without providing any proof, knowing full well his brother is going to be king of that country. The country he is now shitting on. By the way, the approval rating of Meghan and Harry in the UK, according to recent polls, have taken a nosedive. Not even a joke. They've taken a nosedive.
Well, they don't represent anything of the royal family anymore. If I remember correctly, last year, actually it was last year, they rescinded their royal family privileges, fucked off, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that had happened.
Right. It's a YouGov poll. Public opinion of Harry and Meghan falls to a record low. To the point where if the baseline is 0 for approval, their approval rating is at -3 and -27. That's lower than Emmanuel Macron's at 19, okay? And I'm not joking. I will link it on our little service. You can see it yourself. I watched that interview. I watched all of it. Mm-hmm. They didn't provide anything substantive. There were contradictions. I can't just blindly believe someone saying, yes, racism. Also, the talk about Archie getting protection. So, as many of you will know from this week at Twitter, I got blocked by Successes for Sussexes, or whatever bloody fucking name was. I got blocked after it was a cordial response between each other. Well, I was just being my usual dick self, pointing out that Archie is not eligible for protection. Now, I'll be honest, he doesn't need it. Eligibility, there's a point. Yes, perhaps. But in reality, no. Because he lives in a $40 million mansion in Silicon Valley. His parents are making tens of millions of dollars every year now. His dad got millions in a settlement where his father helped buy the bloody house he lives in. Prince Charles paid with his own money to do that, by the way, from his own farm business, not from money he receives from the taxpayer. Yeah, because the royal family actually work, by the way. Come on. And I mean, you don't need the protection at that point, but I get the eligibility issue. So this is because of a letter that was signed in either 11, 13 or 17. I can't remember which one it was. It was signed by a king or somebody, and it basically prevented it going to great-grandchildren. It was a way of consolidating, unless it was direct line descendants, as in somebody who, or the direct line that ascended to the throne. So, in the order it goes to, Charles, William, and because William's 3 children are still alive, it has to go to all 3 of them. All 3. If one of them dies, it's still the other 2. It has to go to all 3, and they are great-grandchildren, yes. But they all receive it because they're direct line. That's how it works. It's always worked that way. Yes, people like Eugenie and Beatrice, who are princesses and they are grandchildren of the Queen, did receive protection until they were 20. Grandchildren. They always receive it. Grandchildren always do. And the Queen still paid for some of it out of her own money. Because again, the royal family has a business. Not just that of royalty, but other farms mostly. everyone knows Prince Charles does a lot of organic farming, and it's just, I don't know, the arguments were pointless and redundant, and it showed that those who were arguing it fundamentally did not understand the royal family or had done a quick Google search thinking, oh, I'm an expert. I can promise you this, I'm English, and apparently that does make me an authority. I'm not an expert, but it didn't take a Google search for me to know any of this. It's just ingrained in our bloody culture at this point. Just because we hate the royal family doesn't mean we don't understand them.
Why do you hate the royal family? Because I know why the Americans do.
Well, I don't. I personally don't. I'm not exactly anti-royal. I'm not anti-royal. I'm not necessarily. I'm kind of marginally pro, because, and I've always said this, they make us money, and I'm okay with this. And also, it's a cultural thing. I think for me, I've always been very accepting of the fact that we've had a royal family for millennia. It's just one of those things. It's very much part. It's a tautology, I guess. It is what it is. It's part of. It's English. It's so English, and I'm quite proud of that, because they don't have too much power. They don't really cost me much, so I don't care. When Harry left and he gave reasons for leaving, a lot of it was based on media, and I was so frustrated when I saw that comment, because this is a guy who is now preaching about racism, who had unironically about a decade earlier gone to a fancy dress party as a Nazi soldier with a swastika band on his arm, like grandfather, like grandson. It was astonishing to see that, and to see him completely like. It's odd. With the royal family, though, I don't mind them. I just, when Harry left and he gave the reasons, his reasons seemed like he was using, and this is such a no. It doesn't. It does work. It doesn't. There were two ways it could come across, and I saw both of them. It could come across as somebody who's genuinely very much uncomfortable with the media attention, like his great grandfather, who was great uncle, I believe it was the Queen's grandfather, uncle, great uncle, who was a king who abdicated the throne to Elizabeth's father. I can't remember his name. Doesn't matter. I think it was George or Edward. I don't know. Doesn't matter. They all have the same basic bitch English names. The other one was that it could come across as him using his mother as an excuse to get out of being involved in the royal family because of what happened to Princess Diana. Obviously, not saying that is true, just saying that's how it can come across. And when you then start to slap the British people about, and the British royal family, even if you're anti-royal, I can promise you this, yes, mostly young people are like, why do we have them? Let's get rid of them. Abolish the monarchy. But we'll spell monarchy M-O-N-A-R-C-Y. Because we're intelligent, yo. We are the next generation. Learn to fucking spell, you retards. And it looked, even ignoring them, I'd say the feeling is no one likes him anymore. Because Edward, thank you, Carlos. It was Edward that abdicated. So many, William and Harry, very popular they were. Very, very popular. But now it's just Will. Will's popular. Harry is not. Harry's loathed because of how he's done this. And that's this interview, this ITV thing did not help him at all. He can go about Spotify and Netflix if he wants, but in reality the British people don't like him anymore.
You know what the saddest thing about this whole ordeal with your royal family?
What's that?
Is that Harry used to be loved by your country. He was a veteran.
Yeah.
And from what I remember, he also loved his family. He was always a part of his family.
Mm-hmm.
Then this bitch comes in, right? This bitch comes in, tears this family apart, forces the man to basically condemn his own family, and fuck off, and literally just leave them all behind.
And in the chat on YouTube,
this is a fucked up person, dude.
It is. In the YouTube chat, Spider Geronimo has said, actually quite funnily, we're stepping away from the limelight. which is a quote from him, actually. He did, in fact, reference wanting to step away from the limelight, and then he goes and does a sit-down interview with Oprah, and it's like, signed to deal with Spotify and Netflix, come on. Do you want me to read the list of royalty from most popular to least popular?
Sure.
Bottom.
I won't know half of them.
Bottom, Prince Andrew, because of the Epstein stuff. And rightly so,
fair.
quite frankly. Next, Meghan Markle at 31%. Down 27%, so yeah. But above her...
I'm still mad she gets even counted as a royal.
I don't really care about who... I mean, Duchess of Sussex. I mean, I'm surprised they even got to keep the titles. Camilla Parker Bowles is above Meghan Markle at 39%. Prince Edward, 41%. He's the youngest of Queen Elizabeth's children. Prince Harry, 45%.
Oh, wait, Queen Elizabeth, the current queen?
Yes.
Not the first one?
Well, she never had any children, the first one.
No. Oh, right, yeah.
So,
because Queen Elizabeth the First.
Yeah, she never had kids. That's why the Tudors died. They went to James, who fucked off to Scotland or something, I don't know. Prince Charles is above Harry by 4%, it's 49. Princess Anne... Oh, isn't that the daughter of the Queen? The eldest. Not the eldest daughter, the second eldest. I don't know. 64%. Kate Middleton, 73%. Prince William, 76%. And then number 1, where she's always been the Queen. Like, legit, she's always been number 1. Second place was normal. It used to be William and Harry. Obviously, Kate Middleton, very popular. She's very, very popular. Princess Anne is funny because she's super she loves her royal. She loves her military and horses. It's quite funny.
I think I've heard more about Kate than I have about Anne. I don't remember why, but I know more about Kate Middleton than I know about Anne.
Yeah, and Cyrene mentions in YouTube chat that they might lose their titles at a Megxit review. Yeah. Well then. Prince Harry, I don't think Harry will... I think it's the Sussex. The annoying thing is, that Sussex title was gifted to them on their wedding day. I was born in Sussex. Well, West Sussex. I'm very proud of that area, in fact. I'm really, really pissed off that it's associated with two people that took the title and fucked off. Because it's a title I haven't used in quite a long time.
For me, it's less about the title and more about the principle of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't... you guys have, lords and shit. And America, I believe it's actually illegal to be a lord. There are no lords in the U.S. You are not allowed to have that title in U.S. politics or whatever. But for me, it's the principle of, yes, hi, we're giving you this thing because we care about you and you are part of our family. Make us proud. Nah, fuck you, publicly, and making a big stink about it. God damn it, man, your grandmother, or fucking Queen Elizabeth II is how old now?
Oh, she's 95, 94. I don't know.
And do you think after the shit with Andrew that this is what she wants to be fucking dealing
94.
with? Okay, 94.
Yeah.
But even still, after all that shit with Andrew and the disgrace that he brought upon the royal family, do you think that this is what she wants to fucking deal with? Absolutely not.
Queen Elizabeth is known for having a bit of a soft spot for Harry. And I would say many people on Twitter did use what's going on with Epstein, the Epstein Andrew stuff, as an argument for the royal family being shit, and defending Harry with it. My view is they are two totally separate things. You can't compare the two. One is an ongoing investigation. Don't make assumptions, because at best this is just one rather shite false equivalence.
Well, even if I gave it any kind of merit, it's great, yeah, people are assholes. Congratulations, we have it here too. So what's your point? It's I don't give a fuck if they're oh, the royal family is bad because they did bad things. Well, don't tell anybody to keep reading the history books because they may never look at people the same way again.
Yeah.
because you might find out that not only did they do that, but they're also all blood related most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because what was that family name? Habsburgs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all fucked each other. So whatever. Keep that royal family line, I guess. So no, I don't believe anybody who makes that as an honest argument, because it feels like they're just trying to game, being like, yes, bad point. That means I'm winning. Shut up. So sick of it.
Yeah. So what's overall? What is the feel in America over what's been happening with this Oprah interview?
Oh, okay. So you have people who are doing the woke thing, and are standing by Megan because racism is bad. And she said the racism word, so now they're standing by them. There's a bunch of people who are like, what are you talking about? The Queen never cared about this. And also, what? Like, the people who are then defending the royal family. And then there's a lot of people in the middle who are going, guys, we're Americans. Do you remember that we told them, like, about 300 years ago to go fuck themselves? Anybody remember that? No? Just me? All right, cool. And then those people are kind of shouting into the void because no one's paying attention to them. So that's kind of where America is feeling on this. But you have, again, it's not even our problem, but you have stark political factions.
Right.
So that's that. Shall we move on to...
Oh, yeah. Cuomo. Oh, boy.
Okay, so the number is 7 now, by the way.
30.
7. I meant 7 of accusations.
30.
No, 7 women have come forward.
30 now.
Are they?
Yeah, I'll give you the article as well. I'll give it to you. Hang on.
Okay, because all the news outlets I've been reading have been saying 7.
Yeah, this one's a new one. 30 women have now complained about his bullying and sexual harassment.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's only from one place. I've literally just found that, so it's very recent. Because I only knew it as 7 as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Who is Andrew Cuomo? Trups?
Andrew Cuomo is the governor of the great state of New York. Yes, in fact, New York is more than just New York City, though it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
I'll take your word for it. I've still never been.
I have cousins who live in Long Island, so that's kind of mean for me to say.
I don't know. Is Long Island a part of New York?
Long Island is in New York.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's in New York. But you have Syracuse and stuff like in New York. So there are other things besides New York City. Anyway, he's the governor. He made a whole bunch of news during the coronavirus as the person who is going to save us all with his amazing handling of the coronavirus, which included not sending sick people to the USS Mercy. Oh, that's always good. Oh, I love you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
I have no fucking clue, but sometimes I wonder if there are gunshots going off outside.
Party.
Yes, no, it wasn't gunshots. It was too quiet for that. Probably somebody playing with a fucking sparkler.
Yay.
Or M80s, because fun.
Yay.
I'm getting shot up, guys. They've come from...
Yay.
No, so he didn't send people to the USS Mercy. It was actually supposed to be a place where you could send non-COVID positive people to go get treatment, while the regular hospitals were going to be filled with COVID patients. That was hardly ever used. He was also responsible for, I believe at this point, they are equating about 15,000 deaths to his decision to put sick people back in nursing homes. Some of those people include politicians' some people's families, like the weather person on Fox News.
Oof.
Lost both their parents, actually, in a New York nursing home and
dear.
they outright blame Cuomo. Like, outright.
I'm impressed.
They filed a lawsuit.
That's a lot.
15,000, dude. But notice, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the sexual assault allegations. Why?
Yes.
Because no one else is talking about these 15,000 deaths, save for a very small amount of conservative news outlets or independent commentators.
You realize the same people that then get told they're anti-vax conspiracy theorists because they're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or racist or bigots or all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Every other
Basically,
thought-terminating cliche used possibly against them because how dare you criticize Cuomo?
Yes, exactly. And that is currently what the situation is. So these, I guess, 30 now people have come out and said that Cuomo's a bit creepy. Now, Cuomo has come out and said several things about how he never meant to do these things. It was never his intention to cause any awkward feelings or make anybody uncomfortable. Apparently, with this most recent person, now I'm counting the 7, not the 30, because I don't know enough about the others.
Mm-hmm.
But the last person in the 7 had claimed that at a party that she had to go to, because she is a journalist, in fact, she already knew that Cuomo was creepy, had already awkwardly, laid hands and all that kind of stuff, and she knew full well what he was like, and was concerned about having to go to this party, but also worried that if she didn't, that her political or career could be in could be lost, which is a real concern for a lot of people in this industry who deal with powerful people doing bad things. So, yeah, you have a bunch of folks then go to this party, and as it turns out, they go for a picture, and apparently she was visibly uncomfortable, at which point Cuomo had turned around, allegedly, and said, "Oh, do I make you uncomfortable? I thought we were going steady." Now, keep in mind, this woman at the time was 25.
Oh.
And one of the youngest in the press corps at the time.
Oh.
He's a creep, dude.
Yeah. It's no longer funny. I take my laugh back.
I mean, I understand, but it's like, oh god, it's so weird, dude. It's
so 14.
It's worse than Biden
14
sniffing. Well, maybe
members
not.
of the New York Congressional District. 14 of them have called for Cuomo's resignation. That would include Jerry Nadler, who I'm surprised is still alive. AOC. Well, come on, he can barely walk. Jamal Bowman, Mondaire Jones, Yvette Clarke, Adriano something, Carolyn Maloney, Grace Meng. I don't actually know any of these people. Oh, hang on, Sean Patrick Maloney, I know that name. Brian Higgins, Paul Tonko, Kathleen Rice, I know that name. Nydia M. Velasquez. Yeah, these people are calling for the resignation. There was a statement in the article I've given you, actually, that's actually from Nadler. A direct quote. You got a tweet from AOC, which says, after two accounts of sexual assault, 4 accounts of harassment, the Attorney General's investigation finding the governor's administration hid nursing home data from the legislation and public, we agree with the 55-plus members of the New York State Legislature that the governor must resign. Hang on, she recognizes the... Oh,
yeah. Good for her. You know what? I take that back. Good for AOC for actually calling out the nursing home deaths. I don't like her, but I'm going to give her credit for this. Good shit.
So, in Nadler's, it says the bravery individuals have shown in coming forward to share their experiences with Governor Cuomo is inspiring, and I stand with them in support. The repeated accusations against the governor and in the manner which he has responded to them have made it impossible for him to continue to govern at this point. Cuomo is guaranteed due process under law, although his accusers are credible and the charges against him are serious indeed. The investigation underway by New York State Attorney General Letitia James and the Albany Police must be permitted to run their course before we reach judgment about his liability for any alleged criminal act. but there is a difference between formal investigations that may end in criminal charges and a question of confidence in our political leadership. The question before us is squarely a political judgment. Governor Cuomo has lost the confidence of the people of New York. Governor Cuomo must resign.
True, actually. And it's an interesting topic to go into, citing Brett Kavanaugh.
I want to add to that quickly before you get into it, that the New York Assembly has already approved an impeachment investigation into Andrew Cuomo, with 59 Democrats now calling for that resignation.
Which is technically in addition to the FBI investigation into the nursing home deaths.
Yep.
So this guy is fucked. I just want to point that out. He is absolutely fucking screwed.
Yeah. So how does this tie up with Brett Kavanaugh?
Okay, so when Brett Kavanaugh was being considered for a Supreme Court position, he was accused by Christine Blasey Ford. We handled this extensively on this channel.
Yeah.
A lot of people at that point in time were listening and believing.
Because they suck.
Right? And basically would say, oh, well, this accusation has come from a doctor above all else. And we have no reason to find them to be... not a credible witness to this situation, except for when then a hearing was held on it. She could neither recall the details of the situation, and several body language experts also remarked that she appeared to be lying and making shit up. I'm not that body language expert. You can look it up.
I would also recommend on this channel, we did streams covering this. And we outright stated this. He wasn't lying.
He wasn't. No, absolutely not. She was.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's not a case of we're not believing a survivor of sexual assault. There was no sexual assault, though. I don't know what more.
At least not the one that she was describing.
Yeah, not the one she was describing. Sorry, thank you.
I don't know if there was never sexual assault, but I do know that her description of the Kavanaugh situation did not happen.
It was quite something. And come on, what's happened since then?
He's been on the court.
And what has Blasey Ford been up to?
Not a clue. She has gone into obscurity.
Now, granted, it's been 3, maybe 4 years. I can't even remember how long ago it was. All I know is Trups and I've been doing this for a while, and we definitely covered that because I genuinely was. I've been covering things like that for years, false allegations, and I don't care for listen and believe. I've never done, and it was just all the. Do you remember like AOC then as well? She was very much like, we need to believe this. You need to choose someone better. Trump's picked the wrong person. It's like, well, clearly not.
Oh, yeah. Partisan politics all throughout that entire situation.
We're lucky, really, that he even got approved then.
Oh, absolutely. Especially noting that Me Too was very, very popular at the time. It has since died off a lot in its in how much is happening with it. But
yeah, there's still stuff going on.
Back then, yeah. You had a lot to contend with back then.
Yeah, there's still stuff going on, but it's nowhere near the level.
Right. It's pretty bad, but you cannot pass off the fact that a lot of Democrats, especially the establishment ones, I guess Nadler would be a strange situation in this case because he's very, very establishment. However, a lot of the pundits that otherwise would protect Cuomo, they're chalking everything up to, oh, we need due process. He deserves to have his day and the investigation to go through. Sure, I believe that. I honestly do. I think that that's important. I think that due process is afforded to everybody who has these accusations. That being said, it's hilarious when you assholes don't agree with yourselves and will say absolutely dumbass things in search of political clout, I suppose. And you come to reap the consequences of it later. It's not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last. And good luck.
It's something at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what to think of it, because it's really strange to now say due process from the same people who were like impeach, impeach, impeach.
Yeah, that too. That's another good one too. Impeachment, and all you fuckers who are like, what is due process? We don't know. We don't care. It's Trump. Kill him. Legit. Yeah. That's how it feels. It's how it legitimately feels with some of these people. And I don't know necessarily if we will ever really recover out of that until we get rid of cancel culture as a whole. Which right now, I believe the terminology that they have requested that we use is consequence culture.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw cancel culture trending all week. And a lot of the tweets are, "It's not real. It's not that at all. It's consequences." Are you sure you want to be saying that? Do you need an adult?
No, unfortunately, their adults can't be trusted for the most part, I would say.
Honestly, I don't quite understand. It's just a really frustrating thing to see them now say, in this context, we need this, but they're the same people who for 4 years were not at all in favour of that at all.
That's just, it's part of the course, right?
And they also work within a political sphere where due process is you all vote the way we tell you to vote, or you don't get selected when an election comes up.
Yeah, that too. And that is a very good point. If you don't toe the party line, especially the establishment line, you will never see a re-election unless you're outrageously popular on, say, social media, like AOC. AOC is playing the game very, very well. I don't know if you've noticed, but she actually has a Twitch channel.
Yes, I actually do know because I remember hearing about it. I wouldn't be surprised if, in a couple more terms, she pushed for Senate.
I wouldn't be surprised, actually.
Because I actually think she'd win.
Probably, actually. Just because of how many people love her for being kind of clapback culture. You know what I mean? Like the younger, more sassy version of what people want. People like them and Marjorie Taylor Greene and several of the other more new
Ilhan
congressional
Omar
appointments
and Rashida Tlaib and all
that. Yeah, they're very much the clapback and the fuck you, what are you gonna do about it kind of attitude. And I think a lot of millennials and Gen Z people kind of like the chaos that it creates.
So I'm not gonna criticize her streams. I don't really care enough, but she's a strange one to me because you saw it in that tweet. There are some times where I have to support her because she's right, and many will say, "Oh, you can't support her. She's the enemy." But she said the right thing. She called out the right thing. She actually did. No one else. I haven't seen anyone else do it. I don't agree with the Green New Deal. It was a terrible idea. The way it was framed anyway. And I know we're trying to bring something in over here. It's just, no, let's go with no for now. It's just, she's I don't know, she's almost hit or miss. It's quite strange. I mean, I like when Paul Joseph Watson was mocking her for dancing on a roof. No, it wasn't her. It was others, because even Paul Joseph Watson took the stance of, she looks like she's having fun. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Like, yeah, I mean, and yes, she's done shitty, cringy photo shoots at a fence. Yes, in a car park. I know, but or wherever it was. But she's
it was.
Yeah, but she's she has fun as well. Not everything's something you need to criticize.
Still a person.
Eh.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's wise for a elected official to be necessarily on Twitch per se. But I also know that comparatively, we don't have many folks in, especially a gamer sphere, in politics. I think anywhere, really. Like, I remember in the EU, and I remember bringing this up maybe a week or two ago with the EU when Dankula went, trying to talk about internet or net neutrality, and his comments afterwards basically saying that none of them understood what the fuck he was talking about. It's a weird thing. It's kind of different. It's refreshing a little bit to have somebody who is going to be jokingly old right now and say hip with the kids.
Very hip.
It's kind of refreshing. It's where I have entertained the conversational topic of if I would ever run for any kind of elected office, like what kind of things would I push for? I've told myself that I should handle net neutrality and gun rights and things like that. And I would do it with the knowledge of what the hell I'm talking about, as opposed to many of these politicians. Well, technically, that means that AOC is already part of that. They're just on the other side of the issue.
Yeah.
Maybe. Some issues. We'll call it some issues.
Some.
Because I had to give her credit for calling out the Cuomo thing. That's some bullshit. And we
spoke about that so many times as well, and nobody was talking about it. So yeah, you have to give her credit, which I think is brilliant. Okay, is there anything else on this you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so. I think I handled everything I had wanted to say.
By the way, before we started, legit, there was nothing happening in the UK, to be honest. And Trupp says most of this is going to be drama. We're going to be talking about the royal family. And I said, and the Cuomo stuff, Okay, then. You weren't wrong, to be fair. Okay.
No, that's fine and dandy. We got it good.
I would highly recommend, if you don't already, to follow Trupp's. His link tree is down in the description. If you listen to this on Spotify, which is also linked down below, please consider following us. We just hit 30 followers. Well done, us. Woo! Yes, we're on the way up, everyone. We greatly appreciate any interaction over on Spotify as well, because why not? We will discuss a second show, a more relaxed format, no politics probably, more than likely.
Probably not.
Yeah, why bother? Is there anything you've got planned for the weekend, or you want to shill or promote or anything?
Not quite yet. I'm still in the process of finishing up my move. I had to get somebody to fix my AC because some copper piping came apart in my wall, so my refrigerant was leaking. That was fun.
That's unfortunate.
So I'm still fixing that.
Well, I hope that all goes smoothly for you. I shall mostly be not on the computer by being on the computer, and then probably go for a bike ride if it's not raining or anything. Thank you all very much for joining. We shall, unless Trups is away next week, be back here next week.
I should be here.
Then that's the answer I need. Thank you all very much for joining. I feel like I've cocked up the ending here. Say goodnight, Trups.
Right. Good night, Trups.